beautiful day and welcome to GhanaWeb TV. Our guest today is a politician and an economic expert. He hardly shows that side of him. Today with me is Dr. Peter Boama Otokunor. Did I get the name right?
You got it, sir.
He's currently the Deputy General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, and he's aspiring to be the General Secretary. Mr. Otokunor, sorry, Doctor.
You know, you are pardoned.
Why General Secretary position?
Well, you know, the party has gotten to a point where they need certain kind of leader. You know, as the saying goes, circumstances produces their kind of leaders. The situation as it stands now, the need for political power and the rescue of this country from the incompetent and clueless hands of Akufo-Addo demands that the NDC gets certain kind of results-driven leadership. And that kind of results-driven leadership, I believe, is what I possess. The people are clamoring for this leadership and clamoring for my leadership in particular in the NDC because they believe that Dr. Peter Boama Otokunor presents leadership of courage, fearlessness, boldness, leadership that, you know, achieves results, leadership that understands the rudiments of winning elections, leadership that understands the rudiments of managing a political party, a leadership that is accessible, a leadership that shares the aspiration and the ideals and values of the people. And you see them call me a grassroots man, the people's general. It's all because I know their worries, I know their sentiments, I know their difficulties, I share it with them, and I'm with them on the ground. And because of the connectivity that lies between us, that makes it easy for them to push for my kind of leadership. And you see, the thing about general secretaryship also is that you want to win political power, you will need to first of all consolidate your party. You will need to excite the base of the party. You will need to get the grassroots well mobilized for that movement. Then whilst you have done that, as an efficient general secretary, you will need to also look at how you are able to pair your stature, your knowledge and abilities, attract various sections of society. So you will need to cut across. And as you are already aware, I cut across the middle class, the academia. I'm a young person. I attract the youth who are going to be the mainstay and the main deciders of the 2024 elections. I believe that, this is, you know, a divine timing, a divine establishment that I take this position at this time, particularly when I appear to be the one with the most experience in that office and understand the nuances of that office, particularly having studied under General Mosquito and having worked with him directly and gotten impacted by him. And coupled with my other experiences that I've had in the past before I even became a Deputy General Secretary. What are you doing different from being a General Deputy to a General Secretary? Well, the difference is in the name of the position. When you are a Deputy General Secretary, you're a Deputy General Secretary. Yes, according to our constitution, you are to assist the General Secretary. And when they say assistance, it means that you have to assist. You must offer assistance. You should be there to do things on behalf of the General Secretary. But when you are the General Secretary, you are in charge. You lead the battle. Does it mean you didn't play a major role as Deputy Secretary? On the contrary, I did a lot as a Deputy General Secretary. For some reason and by some divine grace, I think that General gave me a huge opportunity to serve, unlimited opportunity to serve the party in so many respects that ordinarily you wouldn't have a Deputy General Secretary do. And that opportunity also afforded me, you know, another opportunity of learning and building my capacity for the office. Before that, I was Deputy Director of Research. And before that, I was a member of the Elections Directorate. My work is there for everybody to see. You realize that the NDC has embarked on a huge revolutionary a program, in our party management. We have developed a comprehensive MIS system that is managing our party. We've introduced a new financial management system that has all our payments going electronic and all that. You've seen that our processes for nominations and all that have changed. The kind of chaos that visited our processes in the past, it's not, there now. And all through, most importantly, my ingenuity and, the opportunity that was offered by my boss to lead those things and get those things done. So, that has become a springboard for a bigger vision of growing a party that is robust and formidable.
You have a very big legacy, and your work as a deputy secretary can be seen, especially with the school. But is this what you think puts you ahead of your contenders? That's Fifi and LPC free.
If legacy means anything, if efficiency means anything, if results means anything, then that is what puts me above them. Because I've shown that I can do a great job as a general secretary. And I have said, for example, certainly. I have said, for example, that if anybody goes to school to learn journalism like you have done, you become a journalist. If anybody goes to learn any trade like carpentry, becomes a carpenter. If anybody goes to learn any trade like a mason, you become a mason. You understand? And if you go through apprenticeship to learn general secretary, what do you become?
You have been a former MP aspirant at the constituency level at Otokunor Central. It means you had ambition in that regard. Have you given up on that?
Oh, well, you see, every good leader is a product of the people. And at the time, the people wanted me in Otokunor Central. And I gave it a shot. But I think now the people want me as the General Secretary of the NDC. And that is why I'm offering it a shot.
Let's go for a break. We'll be back shortly.
Powers and principalities.
There's so much fire inside me.
Tragedy struck when part of the largest hillside at the kosher rubbish dump collapsed.
It's going to be fun to see how he goes about approaching this game.
Welcome back from the short break. We've been speaking to Dr. Peter Otokunor, who is aspiring to be the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. Many believe you have a doctorate in agricultural economics, and with your expertise, we expect that we want to go into other sections, especially when we are facing economic crisis. Your expertise will be needed. Why don't you wait for some appointments rather than contest the general secretary elections?
And that is where people get it completely wrong, because every government is a product of the party. And whatever government program there is, when the party is in government, is a product of the party's work. We produce the manifesto documents. Governments do not produce the manifesto document. You need a general secretary who understands policy in detail to lead the preparation of a manifesto. In actual fact, manifestos are prepared under the hand of the general secretary. So if you don't have a general secretary who really understands policy, whatever you put out there will not be responsive to the needs of the people. Bear in mind that the party runs on an ideology. We are social democrats, and the understanding of social democracy and what it means and its reflection in our policies and programs is very key to the survival of both the party and the government. And that is exactly what I do. When it comes to the understanding of the philosophy, if there is any new generation politician in the NDC who really understands what we stand for and even teaches that, then it's me. And so that knowledge, coupled with my knowledge in policy, both economic policy, rural development policy, even youth development policy, and agriculture, it positions me in a stead that allows me for efficient contribution and offloading, or if you want, downloading of my expertise to the party, even more than taking a ministerial position. Because taking a ministerial position restricts you in knowledge. But if you look at Dr. Peter Otokunor, I'm a versatile person. I cut across various sectors. And that is one gift that God gave me. God made me a multitasker, so I'm able to do a lot of things at the same time and still get very efficient at all of them. If you look at the manifesto we prepared in 2016, for example, and you look at the manifesto we did in 2020, and you see how it was touted as one of the best manifestos ever done. And those manifestos also had my significant, contribution. That tells you that I am better off becoming a general secretary, and Ghana will benefit more from me as a general secretary than even a minister of any ministry.
Many see you to be the youngest secretary too, or youngest aspiring general secretary. I think it's yourself for a very long time. We had even in the other party where we had Sir John, the late Sir John. Don't you feel it's a big tax for you? With many who say, even though you chaired in many boards and you've made certain decisions for the party, don't you think you are young?
The history of leadership is a history for young people. Great leaders who have made history from the days of Adam have been young people. I mean, one of the greatest leaders ever lived on earth is Jesus Christ. In fact, he led this world as a young person. In this party, the party was actually formed and led by a 33-year-old who led a revolution in 1981 and became a head of state. You understand? Yes. And if you look at the history of the PNDC and the NDC, in actual fact, all those people who led the party and made the party to become what it is were all young people. You had the PV or beings, the Totobi Kwachis, the Nana Tudas, who were 23, 24, 25, 26 years old, who coupled with the leader himself, Fly Lieutenant Rollins, who was around 33 years old. And if you look at all these young people, they made great strides. The legacy, Ghana, the Ghana legacy as it stands now, cannot be mentioned without Rollins. In actual fact, Rollins has become the founder of modern Ghana, after the independence. So you cannot overemphasize the role of the young people. And most importantly, let me emphasize that the wisdom of Solomon has nothing to do with the age of Methuselah. You understand? You don't need to be old before you become efficient in leadership. But
it's because of how huge the general
is Ghana huge than France? Your Facebook that you are on, the internet that you are on, the website that you are on, they were all generated by young people. I think that young people must be allowed to grow. Because look at President Akufo-Addo. He is almost 78 or something. You have seen the bizarre performance, the disgraceful performance he and his Bawumia has offered to this country. So age is just a number. It does not signify competence. You understand? Competence is irrespective of age, as it stands now. The NDC even need a youthful general secretary more than ever. I mean, yes,
difference you are bringing on board?
Yes, a lot of difference, because you see, 2024 elections will be determined by the young people of this country. You need somebody who shares their aspirations, their views, and their values to lead them. And you see, young people would also always want their own to lead them, because their own understands them. And so that is most certainly the reason why the NDC must get a young general secretary now. But why? Even our friends who are not even responsive to the young people, they have selected a 38-year-old general secretary. How much will the NDC? And look at the credentials and the experiences and the track record of who has become the general secretary of the MPP, and compare that to me and see whether he comes anywhere near me. He's completely dwarfed. You understand? So this is a time for the young people.
You are aspiring for a position where they have the current general secretary has said that you are hardly even paid. He lives by allowances, and even the allowances, it is asset when it comes.
Guess what? I've been doing that for the past 8 years without pay. It is sacrifice, commitment, and dedication that yields the results, and that is exactly what I've been doing for the past 8 years, and I think I can do it some more. Life is not all about getting paid. As a professional in my various fields, I do a lot of things that provides, financial support. Yeah. You understand? Right. To myself and my family. I'm a farmer. I've been farming for a very long time. I do a lot of consultancies, both business consultancy and agriculture consultancy and so on and so forth. So all those things, I have businesses running on the side, and I've solely lived on these things for a very long time, from the time we were in power when I resigned from government position. So when you are a politician and you would want to live your life on salary or some allowances, then you should be looked at, because you may end up being somewhat corrupt.
There was an attempt to get you to step back and rally your support.
Oh, no, it's not true.
Should there be an instance like that? Doc, will you step back?
Why should anybody? I've picked nomination.
Oh, we see people even on the
No, you are
D-Day.
behind time. I am the next general secretary of the NDC anymore. Don't worry yourself.
On the D-Day, you may have a change of mind. What if there's a better offer?
What is the offer?
To give you a bigger position.
What is the offer? Why they are going to get the MPP to come and bribe me to step down?
No, I've not said. I've not mentioned bribe. I'm saying you are in a party, and
the MPP cannot bribe me with all the money in the world.
So they say, "Oh, Doc, please step aside. Where your
for who?
For Elvis or Fifi, I don't know with anyone, but where your support on it." So
you didn't also hear rumors that they said they should step aside and not contest because
they shouldn't contest against you.
I am contesting the general secretary of the NDC, and not only contesting the general secretary of the NDC. I'm the next general secretary of the NDC, and mark it somewhere. We'll come back to this.
You spoke about buying K for 5 cities. There are complaint times, hard times in recent time. How are you funding your campaign? I know you just said you're a farmer.
I'm using my Ghana card, frankly.
And what has the Ghana card done for you?
I told you that I'm using Ghana card. You don't believe? You don't believe?
I don't believe.
Well, then you will need to contribute, because it is the people that are contributing. Those who have confidence in my leadership, and they've been very supportive.
You are very hopeful you win this position, and if you win, there's a heavier tax ahead of you, and
Certainly.
That's winning the 2024 elections.
It is actually because of that tax that I'm contesting the general secretary. And that is why there is a need for me to win this election by all means. Because you see, the fortunes of the party, I believe, cannot be gambled with. And the 2024 elections serves two purposes, and it must meet two demands. The people of Ghana cannot afford a minute of an MPP government, and the NDC cannot survive a minute of another MPP government. And these two pressing responsibilities and pressing needs is what is driving me to contest the general secretary. And I believe that my leadership as the next general secretary of the NDC would be crucially tied to delivering the power. The power 2024 will not be child's play. It will not be a joke. The MPP are not going to allow us to take it easily. It is going to be the last kick of a dying horse. And you know what the last kicks of a dying horse means. The MPP will do anything to hold on to power. Now, that will mean that you will need somebody who is courageous, who is bold and fearless, somebody who is ready to sacrifice it all, somebody who wants to leave a legacy, somebody who is very hungry for power to lead the party. And that is Dr. Peter Otokunor for you.
What's the party's message for 2024? We all hear they said it's going to be bloody, it's going to be this, it's going to be... NDC says they are winning, NPP says yes, we are breaking the 8. What's NDC's message?
I say it's going to be a liberation battle. Because, you see, the people of this country are going through some form of slavery. We are going through another form of colonization from our very own, under President Akufo-Addo. And, you know, battle against imperialist tendencies, battle against, you know, colonization, battle against some form of slavery is no joke. You understand? It requires
fate under NDC.
No, have you suffered this under NDC? Like, would Ghana be here today? What is the similar? You have had your currency depreciate over 15% in 3 days. Have you ever seen one before? From 11 to 12 in 1 week, from 11 to 12 to 13 to 14 to 15, 5 days every day. You go to bed and wake up with a new, you know, horizon on your currency depreciation. You have seen some before. Have you seen the kind of deterioration to the extent that we can't even go to the international market to borrow $1? Have you seen some before? It has never happened. The economy is actually out of control. Nothing is functioning. Nothing, absolutely nothing is functioning. And the way we are going, if we are not careful, later this month, next month, we may not be able to pay salaries. Look, the government is not producing. They are not doing anything. And they are just living luxury. They are living a lie. They've lost touch with reality. The president is saying we are lucky to have him. And he's telling the people that if you want to go and vote NDC, he doesn't care. That is the level of hopelessness that we have reached. The president himself has reached the crescendo of hopelessness. And the people would be what? You know, they have a saying about the snake, that the snake is just a snake because of the head. When you cut it off, the rest is rope. And that is what is happening. The leadership has deteriorated beyond repairs, and it will require all of us to come together. If we don't take, what is the global issue?
Ukraine,
the factor
Russia,
in this
war,
deterioration.
COVID-19, we have, it's everywhere. Dollar to pound is also depreciating, everything. And they've made reference to the fact that yes, they are going to IMF, things will get better. But it is not an event that changes.
You think IMF gets things better? The reason why it is not COVID-19 and Ukraine-Russia war is that before COVID-19 came in, the economy has started slumping. The economy was deteriorating. Actually, COVID-19 saved this economy. We have never had a savior like COVID-19 in the past 60 years of Ghana's history. You know why? We have never had a period, a short period, within which we have had free money of about $6 billion ever in the history of this country. It is COVID-19 that brought that. In actual fact, before COVID-19 came in, this economy was suffering and was struggling with balance of payments. This economy was struggling with, you know, our debt to GDP ratio. Thus, sustainability was a problem. In fact, as of 2019, before COVID-19, our debt portfolio had shot over 200 billion before COVID-19 came in. You understand? COVID-19 brought free money. In fact, since the days of EPIC, where we had debt forgiveness, we have not had that quantum of money entering one single economy within a period of 1 year. 6 billion. Now, in the at the current rate, he has not accounted. He has refused. No, he has refused to account for. He has refused to account for the money. We have been chasing him for the accounting of the COVID-19 funds.
The minority said they were going to probe further on his breakdown.
We are still waiting for the details, because I recall once the World Bank had to come out and indicate that they didn't give the government $100 million. They had given in excess of about $563 million, and so on and so forth. But having said that, it is important to underscore the point that the kind of deterioration that we are going through is self-inflicted because of the plummeting of our resources by the government. And make no mistake, Ukraine, Russia cannot be the reason why we are struggling, because we are not using Russian currency. We are not using Ukraine currency. In actual fact, our trade currency in Ghana is the dollar, the US dollar. Is US at war? Has Russia invaded the US? No. Now, let's look at our import basket. You see, we import a lot of consumables. Most of the consumables that we consume in Ghana, we import them. None of the consumables come from Ukraine and Russia. But we import those consumables from China, from US, from Europe, and South America, and those things. And those people are not at war. Are we the only country that, you know, picks imports from Ukraine and Russia? Go and check the German economy. German picks their gas, their natural gas, from Russia. France picks natural gas from Russia. Most part of Europe picks natural gas from Russia. Natural gas is what drives their economy, because they need to provide heat, they need to provide energy, and it is natural gas that provides it. Russia and Ukraine is at war, yet those countries are surviving. Those countries have not been downgraded. Those countries have not had the worst currency slump ever in their history, like we are having in Ghana. The factor that they are not mentioning to you, which you know, but maybe you may not also want to mention, is the management factor. The Akufo-Addo factor, the Ofori-Atta factor, the Bawumia factor. That is what is missing. They have not managed the economy well.
That we should expect the worst. It gets worse before it gets better. So we are facing the worst time. It will get better. Christ. He said it.
At what time?
He said it at his
So 2017, 2016, he didn't know that it gets worse before it gets better. When he came to power, he didn't know that there was some 2016 and when it gets worse, it gets better. In 2016, when the IMF were projecting that Ghana will have the fastest growing economy in 2017, they were still slumping us. He was telling us that if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. Well, on hindsight, I think it's a statement of fact. And if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you, like he has been exposed. You understand? Right. So I believe that those excuses is like a broken record.
How would your party have done this?
And that shouldn't be entertained. I think that the people of this country should be angry enough. I think we are not angry enough with this government. I'm not inciting anybody, but I think that we are not hungry enough. Because you see, the level of hopelessness and insensitivity and unresponsiveness of the government is mind-boggling. And you see, they do not see what is wrong. And look at what is happening to the economy. Look at what is happening to prices. For God's sake, prices of goods and services is 37.2%. And guess what? This is actually the creative one. The actual one is there. The actual one will hit about 60%.
You understand? How would your party have done things any differently if you are in power?
Well, we have done it before. You have seen how we did it differently. We see governance is a serious business, and it requires serious minds. It requires a visionary leader.
So you say everybody.
Governance is not firefighting. Governance is thinking and anticipating the problems before they happen. And that is why President Mahama, when he was in government, was looking at how we would solve our currency problems even before it starts. Our agriculture revitalization program, which got us to start the broiler revitalization program, reduce the broiler importation or chicken importation by almost 60%, rice importation by 50%, and all those things was a way of domesticating our resources and reducing the pressure we put on our foreign exchange. Guess what? We had one of the worst crises under President Mahama, when there was total commodity price slump, where we were getting gold prices at the lowest in the history of the world. Cocoa prices lowest, cashew prices, oil prices the lowest. And guess what? We were relying on our production. Those times production was very high in cocoa, producing over 1 million tons of cocoa, producing oil. We were producing gold at large quantities. Yet we were not getting the foreign exchange. You understand? Right. Now on the flip side, fast forward, for the past 6 years, the commodity prices are doing exceedingly well. I mean, the commodity prices are top of range now, but you are producing little cocoa. All the cocoa farms have been turned to galamsey sites. The cashew galamsey sites, even the galamsey sites and the gold that they are mining, you don't have control. So because of the way you are doing things, they are smuggling the gold to neighboring countries, and the neighboring countries are benefiting. So you are not taking advantage of the price, increases on the international market, and the economy is suffering. What is getting the currency to slump like this in this short time, and it has gone out of control, is that we have depleted our international reserves. Now our international reserves will not even reach 1 day. And so you see, this government is trying every means to get some money in, and it's not working. And guess what? IMF is not going to save Ghana. You know the reason why IMF is not going to save Ghana? You are looking for a $3 billion, facility from IMF. Yes. IMF will not carry $3 billion into your government.
They will give it in phases.
Yes, they would. They may give you a 3 years program or a 5 years program, and $1 million in a year. Sorry, $1 billion in a year for a government that is having debt responsibility of about $3 billion a year. You can imagine what is going to happen. Your total revenue and your interest payments is about almost 80%. All your revenue that you are collecting from your local sources, including your so-called e-levy, you are using about 80% to pay your debt responsibilities, your interest payments, and about 20%, and all that goes into the other things, including emoluments. So the government is running on steroids. The economy is actually in coma.
Where will NDC start to solve this solution?
Nimatu, you see, we need to be realistic at this point. And that is what hurts some of us. The economy is in coma. Complete coma.
We know. Look, we feel the impacts daily. But we are asking.
But why? That is why you voted. When they were saying 4 more for Nana, 4 more for Nana, 4 more to do more. Now it has become 4 more to do less. Even we have not finished 2 years for Nana, and we are all dead. How are we going to survive to the next 4 years? That's why I'm saying that, look, we need to be angry enough in this country. The youth of this country needs to be angry enough. The people of this country needs to be angry enough. We must demand the right answers to the questions. We gave President Akufo-Addo the power. It is within our right and authority to demand answers.
Is there going to be any some violence?
Do or die it will certainly be, because we cannot afford to stand a minute of this kind of incompetent, inept, clueless government.
So what exactly
and most importantly and particularly so, on behalf of the people of this country, we cannot tolerate the continuance of this government. And so whatever it would take to win political power in 2024, we are going to do that together with the people of this country to make sure that we change government and bring a government that is responsive and sensitive to the plights and needs of the people. And that's what the people are calling for. But, we don't expect that President Akufo-Addo will be recalcitrant in 2024.
So what steps have you taken rather than
wait, we don't expect that he will do that. But should the NPP and President Akufo-Addo and his gang of, corrupt government decide that they want to take the law into their own hands and do what they did in 2020 in the 2024 elections, I am sure it's going to be a very bad time for them. You have seen what happened in Sri Lanka when the youth entered the seat of government. The president had to boot out. That is the power of the people. Never ever underestimate the power of the people. It is part of the power of the people that has been given to the president. And you know how powerful the president is. So it is part of our power. We have just taken a bit, just a small bit, and given to President Akufo-Addo. So don't underestimate the power of the people. When the people rise and they want the right thing to be done, it can be like a consuming fire. In Nigeria, they call it akrika, consuming fire. You understand? Right. So I know that President Akufo-Addo have seen the signs. The national security reports are indicative that the youth have become a national security threat. The hopelessness of the young people of the country has become a national security threat. And I know that he is aware. Whatever happened just recently with his hooting in Kumasi and hooting at the global...
He didn't hear it.
The hooting in Kumasi and the hooting at the global event.
Global festival.
Festival event. It's ample testimony. The majority leader, Osechi Mensah-Bonsu, was hooted out and chased out from his constituency. Right. Most of their MPs have been chased out with cutlasses and clubs. Right. And the president is now being hooted out. We don't know where it's going. They should see the signs. We are saying that the people are hopeless. The people need some hope. The people have some aspirations. The people have some needs. The people want jobs. The people need some betterment of their livelihood. And President Akufo-Addo is saying he's not hearing. He's not hearing. In fact, that is the main reason why when I had to do solidarity message at their conference, I had to send the message there. So that if he's not hearing it anywhere, he will hear it from me on the platform where all of them are gathered. After all, I believe that congregation was the biggest congregation of all of Ghana's problems. So
one of the key roles of a general secretary is building the party. Currently, it is very obvious between even the chairmanship position. We hear this today, we hear that tomorrow. Is there any factions within the NDC?
Yet another reason why I have to be the next general secretary of the NDC.
What difference?
Because I would be the uniting factor. I've always been the uniting factor because I cut across various interests in the party, and I appeal across various interests in the party. But let me also emphasize that there's no factions in the party. There's only one faction, which is the NDC faction. Except that, like every other contest, when it gets to contests like this, it's a battle, it's a struggle. And you know, Karl Marx has said that the history of every society is a history of struggle and conflict. So it is out of the struggle that brings stability, that brings strength, that brings unity and progress. So if the party is a party for stability, unity and progress, then such contests shouldn't divide us. And you see, we get out even more stronger from such contests. And if you know the history of the NDC very well, every time that we have gone for major turbulent times where we have had, offshoots coming out of the party, people breaking away to form their parties. And even that is the time that we win political power. You understand? In 2008, when they formed the NDP, the DFP, we won power. in 2012 when the NDP came, we won power. Most importantly, Dr. Peter Boama Otokunor is the uniting force, you know, that would bring the party together after the contest. And it boils down to my disposition as well, my personal disposition, and the kind of environment I work within, and the kind of environment I want to work within. You will need to engender that sense of unity and peace around you, such that, you know, when you go to contest, whichever faction that comes out of it, or whichever interest that plays in the elections, you are able to find a way to bring them together. Because winning political power or election victory is also a function of how united the party is.
Did you get a blessing from Asidi Nkitia to contest the general secretary position, despite the fact that you worked with him? Well,
I mean, I have the full unalloyed blessing from General Mosquito to contest, and not only him, almost everybody that matters in their party.
What's your relationship with John Mahama?
Exceedingly positive. Exceedingly positive. He's not only my boss and a mentor, but it's like a father to me. So my relationship, in fact, my relationship with almost everybody in the party is very cordial, exceedingly cordial. I don't know whoever in the party will say that I have a problem, from the top to the last person in the party, and most importantly, even the grassroots of the party. They are my people, you understand, because I am with them. I share their pain, I share their difficulties, I know their desires, I know their aspirations, and most importantly, I know what they want from leadership of the party, and that is why I am the best person to represent them as their next General Secretary.
If things don't go well, what happens to Dr. Otokunor?
Things will go well. Dr. Otokunor is the next General Secretary of the NDC.
Will you be open-minded in your...
You see, there is no way the outcome would be different. But it's also a contest. You don't underestimate your opponent. I have in no way underestimated my opponent. I know I'm the best among them.
But they have more experience than you?
No, they don't have any more experience than me, apart from the number of years that they have acquired on earth. You understand? So I am very optimistic that I'm going to work with all of them. And I would work very well with all of them, because we have had very good working relationship already, and I think we can build on that when I become the General Secretary after December. I am looking forward to having a great working period that would achieve the ultimate objective of winning the 2024 elections with all of them. And I believe that this contest would not generate any kind of rancor for all the positions. The issues about factions and all those things will neither be here nor there after the elections. We'll come back united. As I said, leadership is the factor, is the cause. Everything else is effect. When you offer the right kind of leadership, you would be able to, you know, engender unity after the contest.
We wish you all the best in your endeavor, and we hope that December, God will speak for you. Don't
worry, God has spoken already. It is written. It's a divine establishment, and nobody can change it.
Thanks for having us on our show.
Thanks for having me to Nimatu. Did you carry your Ghana card?
I always have my Ghana card.
Oh, okay.
We've been speaking to Dr. Peter Boama Otokunor, the aspiring General Secretary of the NDC. Thanks for joining us. I am Nimatu Yakubu Atoyese.
As noted by us in the minority group, the president failed to accept responsibility that he is responsible for the sorry state of the Ghanaian economy, and he is responsible for the wrench economy, which has consequences on livelihoods. Poverty has exacerbated, cost of living have gone high, cost of doing business high, many businesses are folding up, some industries are now rerouting their investment into neighboring Ivory Coast and other countries because Ghana is no longer the investment haven as it should be. You heard the president state categorical that borrowing the highest in the last 50 years. What he failed to add and what he should have added is that I borrowed more than any other head of state and president in the last 50 years. And those of you who listened to Genevieve of the IMF, you recall a few months ago when the IMF and World Bank, particularly led by its managing director, was again categorical that they didn't see anything wrong with government policy. We now state that there's everything wrong with Nana Addo Dankwa's government and his economic management team policy on borrowing. Borrowing is a policy. You decide to borrow and you decide how much to borrow and where to direct the borrowing as an investment. So if you now borrow to the level of debt distress, to the level of unsustainable debt, to the level that you are now talking about ratio of 105% of GDP as your debt level, and then he, Nana Addo Dankwa, the President of the Republic,
2 health centers, we have 67. District hospitals, we have 7 currently. And of course, we are building 8 more, the Agenda 111, which will come on stream. You will see what we are doing there. Then we have the regional hospital. Of course, we have 1 regional hospital. And then we have 9 private hospitals. So you can also come and set up a private hospital also, because we have 1.3 million people and we have only 9 private hospitals. It is also an opportunity for you to come and set up a private hospital in the Upper East region and make some money. It's good to make money sometimes. Trend of doctors to population ratio. So look at 45,723 in 2016. And now look, we have 24,000 in 2021. It's great. Fantastic. This is the work of Nana Addo's government. So we have doctor to population ratio, we've seen that. And then trend of nurses to population ratio. These are very key indicators, okay, in health. Now look at 411, a nurse to 411. In 2016, now a nurse to 286. Fantastic. Now we have midwives also. We have 719 in 2016, now we have 433. Brilliant also. So this tells you what Nana Addo and his government is doing for Ghanaians, and in particular the Upper East region. So you are in Accra here and you're thinking that maybe everything else is in Accra here. I can tell you, and I'm showing you evidence that there are more things happening also in the Upper East region. Now we have malaria cases, very key. Malaria, it kills our brothers and sisters, our children. Look at 2016, 0.0051. Now look at 2020, 0. You should clap for Upper East. So I've seen that it started moving up. So Director of Health is here. We have to make sure that we bring it back to 0. So there's something that we are doing in Upper East that you need to see. You need to come and learn from us what we are doing in Upper East, because we've gotten it to 0 in 2020. Logistics support to health. The health sector has, over the years, received a wide range of logistics support from the Ministry of Health and its development partners, of which the region has also benefited. This was almost doubled in 2020 following the outbreak of the COVID pandemic. These logistics, which range from theater to ward equipment, have significantly improved our health outcomes as a region and country at large. So this tells you why we have that data that I've already showed you. Means of transport. Between 2027 and 2021, 18 vehicles and 49 motorbikes. I think we've already talked about that. Airway pressure machine and infant radiant warmer installed in Boko Presby Hospital. This is brilliant machine that is installed in Upper East region. Then you have freezers. I have never seen these freezers before, but during Nana Addo's time, I have seen it in Upper East region. MPP is piping this country. MPP is building this country. And it's clear. It's there. Yes, it's there. Look at it. Freezers. Hair ultra freezer. Medical, B medical, ultra negative deep freezer. We have all this in Upper East. We also have this in Upper East. TCW 4,000 vaccine fridges. So we have vaccines and we keep them in these fridges. Look, they are there. This is evidence. Upper East is not left out in Nana Addo's drive to develop this country. We are also inside. Yansuye Wombi. Then Ghana National Ambulance Service. The region benefited 16. Remember that we have 15 administrative areas. But because Nana Addo loves Upper East, he decided to give us one free Jara. So we have 16. Of course, one went to the China area. So we have 16 brand new ambulances, fitted. Not those ones that there are no things in it. This one, they were all fitted. And it has never ever happened in this country. I have been an MP during my time in 2008. I had to buy my own ambulance to Benduri at the time. Now Benduri has got a brand new ambulance. What else do you need? Zipline drone services. One of the novel program implemented by this MPP government that has further opened the frontiers of healthcare delivery in the region is a Zipline services. Although the VOPSI Zipline Center is located in the northeast region, the upper east region is the biggest beneficiary of its services. I know that when Vice President was talking about this Zipline, people were thinking, but what are we going to use this one too for? Now we are benefiting in Upper East. Can you imagine? We are also benefiting from the service. Now look at it. A total of 286 health facilities in the region are benefiting from their services, which represents 72% of health facilities served by the center. As of 20th October 2022, the center had delivered the following: over 250,000 life-saving medical supplies in the region. Out of these, over 14,000 were emergency commodities, including anti-snake syrup and anti-rabies vaccines, as well as various blood and blood products. And we all know in Upper East, sometimes our road network and remote villages, you have a snake bite and you don't know what to do. You probably just pass on. Nanado said you will not pass on again. You will not die again. Upper East, you will not die again, even if you are bitten by a snake. Here we are. Okay? It's there. And you can go and check. You can go to VOMSI and check if you think these statistics that we are telling you is not true. You can go there and check. Drone services control over 28,000 routine medical supplies to mostly deprived health centers. So the data is there. You can read it. And then you have, we wanted to show the drone so that people would think, we are just, so please move. That's the drone there. You can see that is dropping one of the products to health centers. The health infrastructure. The region's health infrastructure has immensely increased with the provision of health facilities across the length and breadth of the region, notably of which is the rehabilitation and expansion of the regional hospital and the construction of the infectious disease treatment center at Zebila. When I went there, I was amazed, and you'll see the pictures yourself. Also ongoing is the construction of 8 Agenda 111 across the region. 11. Remember earlier on I said we have 7. Now we are closing the gap with 8. So every single municipal or district is also going to have hospital in Upper East region. That is what it is. Others couldn't do it. Others left it with 7. But we are saying, hey, Upper East, we want you to be healthy. We are giving you extra 8 at a go. And you remember these 7 were given by, I'm sure, from independence to now, 7. And then one government, within 8 years, he's saying, I'm giving you 8. Clap for MPP. So, we have Bolga East, we have Namdam, Binduri, Garu, Tempane, Pusga, Kasan, Nankane West, Bursa South. And I also want you to know the status of all the buildings. And you can see on the next slide the stages at which we are moving. We are not joking in Upper East. You can see right there. You can come yourself and have a look at them. Infectious Disease Treatment Center in Zebila. The Zebila Infectious Disease Treatment Center is being built in response to the emergence of the COVID-19 pandemic
to improve medical diagnosis and research capacity with regard to infectious disease. It is the first of its kind in the region and has the following blocks: main treatment block, administrative block, media block, accommodation block. So let's see whether we can actually, it's there, it's right there. Administrative block, you can see it right there. The main treatment block, you can see it there. Then the staff accommodation, you can see it there. Things are happening in Upper Iso. Then you can see the media block is right there. Then look at the regional hospital also. Regional hospital expansion project is also there. You can see it. So, in fact, you can take a medical holiday and come to Upper East and treat yourself. So that's a regional hospital, you can see. Then we have a cold room, relative hostel also is there. So if you have someone in the hospital, you can have a place to put your head also. And then we have the community-based health planning services. That's the CHIPS compound. A good number of CHIPS are being constructed in all the 15 districts of the region, some of which are as follows. So you can see is there, you can look at it, 2016, what has been done, and then all the way to 2022. Yeah, the levels are all there for you to have a look at it. And the contractors, the names of the contractors, we wanted to give you all the details because we don't want to leave here and then you'll be asking us plenty of questions. Upper is we don't like plenty of questions. We like the work. It's the work that we like. So they are all there. You can have a look at them. So pictures of some selected chips constructed in a district across the region. We also wanted you to see the type of chips compound we are talking about. So they are there. So I have decided to summarize all achievements in health. We have consistent improvement in the routine immunization coverage, phase lifting and expansion of Baratanga Hospital, improved health infrastructure, logistics and service delivery, drone services, which we've talked about, increased health skills personnel over the years, reduced response time following injection of system, establishment of medical facility in the University of CK Tedam. And that is a novel thing we are also bringing. You know, we are also going to be training doctors in Upper Iso. If you have not heard, I'm telling you today, we are also going to be training doctors in Upper East. So start doing your application. Now we have roads. Third thematic area, roads. As a government, we have over the years undertaken a good number of roads projects which have improved the road network and opened the region to other neighboring regions and countries, thereby enhancing trade and beyond. These roads have enhanced movement of people, goods and services and promoted socio-economic development of rural communities, particularly in health and agriculture. So, you know, the road sector has been divided into three. We have the feeder roads, we have the urban roads, and then we have the highways. So as we move along, I'll be showing you sectors. Until the intervention of His Excellency the President's declaration of Year of Roads, the region recorded significant losses of foodstuffs in the hinterlands due to inability of vehicles to convey these foodstuffs to the urban areas. So we all know that. Now let's go to feeder roads. The region has an estimated feeder road network length of 2,257.64 kilometers as follows. Engineered 1,441 is all there, 64%, and then partially engineered 21%, unengineered 15%. Now feeder roads and bridges. 2018 we did 22 lots, then coming all the way that's 65, 2019 65 also, and then 2020 10, and then 2021 75%. It's all there. Completed projects, they are all there for you to see what we have done. I don't need to go through them. It's all there. You can read through them. It's a lot. I've got 11 here. Remember, it's only on feeder roads. Okay? Only feeder roads. We are not talking about all the three sectors of the road. Feeder roads. Road condition mix for feeder roads in a region.
So you see that in December 2016 we had 33.5%. That was good. Now look at 2022, 48.9%. And now look at the poor. It was 27.3%. Now look at the poor in 2022, 13.3%. So we are reducing the poor and we are increasing. Very key. So graphically, it shows you there. Now construction of bridges also. Look at Ghana da Apatanga Farms Road on the Bongo district. So before, look at the bridge, and now look at what Nanado can do after. That is there. You can see it right there. It's there. Construction of Bolga, Doba, Gingambania Road in Kasana and Ghana Municipal. Look at before. Look at after. Brilliant. We are doing something. We are doing wonders. During the Nagu Road in the Garo district, look at before, look at after. It's right there, wonders. Bulungu Longu Via Road in the Bongo district, it's right there. There was no bridge. Look at now, good bridge on it. Zuarungu Gambigu Bost before, look, now look at it. You see, governments have come and gone, isn't it? Just have that in mind. Media, you see what we are doing? Fantastic. Naga, Pulugu, Kandema, look at before. Look at the man on his motorbike in the water. Look at what is going on. So when you are in Accra here, you are asking, and Sikana way, Sikanunye, the money is there. Navrongo Tongo Road, look at it. The day you come to buy tilapia, I'm sure you go on this road and you like it. Then we move from, we come to urban roads. And remember, we have only 4 municipalities. So this urban road operates only in these 3 urban areas or municipalities in the region. So the region has an urban road network of 1,065 kilometers, of which 134.62 kilometers, that's 12.64% is paved, and 87.36% is unpaved. So it's there for you to read. Alpha overlay of selected roads in the region. We've done 50 kilometers. Rehabilitation of Tinongon Sherugu Road in Bolga, 5 kilometers. So they are all there for you to read. Partial reconstruction UDS Navrongo Campus Road, 4.2 kilometers. I want to emphasize this because I'm an Abia myself. Construction of drains is also there for you to see what we are doing in the region. Construction of covers to link up communities. You can see there also. We also have iron rods in Upper East Regional. Look at the iron rods that is there. Construction of covert in Boko. Have you seen it? Very important. So that's where your money is going. So when you are here, don't be asking where is the money. It's here. Graveling works on selected roads is also there. You can see VRA Road in Boko is there. Alfred overlay in the region. DVLA Road, Zuarangu, Boko Township Road also is there. Then we come to Ghana Highways. The region has a total highway road network of 600 kilometers. My presentation would highlight major roads, road works undertaken within the past 6 years in line with the core functions of the Ghana Highway Authority as follows: routine maintenance, periodic maintenance, and bridge maintenance. So you can see grading of and reshaping there. Then you can see the road routine maintenance. All the caps are even being tarred also. You can see that, right? The upgrading. Chichuluga, Sandema, 40 kilometers. Sandema, Wiaga, 10 kilometers. Bolgatanga, Naga, 29.9. Navrongo, 39.5. It's all there. Sandema, Wiaga, 10 kilometers. You can see the pictures. And then Bolgatanga, Naga Road, you can see also what we're doing. Navrongo, Naga Road, you can see what we're doing. Seriously working. And then rehabilitation. Selected roads, Navrongo, Tumu, Bolgatanga, Bongo, and Winkongo, Tongo, Sandema, Doninga, 15 kilometers. Sandema, Doninga also, another 30.5 kilometers is there. Chichuluga, Sandema Road. You can see all this. then re-graveling. In September 2020, 12 lots were awarded to various contractors. Only one contractor has since completed, and the rest have been at various stages of completion. So we are moving on, and we are doing what we can do. The graveling is there. You can see that. Drainage constructions also is there for you to see. Drainage works is there. Bologatanga Boku Road, the Almaty Boku Road. I remember any time there was election, the Boku Road, they go and put the grader and this in there, and a caterpillar and some small chips be on the road, a particular government, and then they will say they are constructing the road, and people will be jumping, they are constructing the road. As immediately we finish the elections, the bulldozers and everything will go back. That's what was happening. I'm from Boku area, so I'm telling you from experience. Now a government has come, and that road is like first class. First class. And you know, we have 3 major bridges on that road. 3 major bridges. And these bridges are being constructed. It's amazing. The media, I want you to spend just a day to come. I can sponsor you to come and see what is going on. But you have your people there anyway. Let them take some pictures of these bridges and show you. You'll be amazed. All the 3 bridges are being constructed. And that road is being done all the way to Polmako, linking Ghana, Togo, and Burkina Faso. That is what this government is doing. So the bridges, we have Kologungu Bridge. These bridges that I'm telling you here have been in the region for years, and they were all metal bridges. Okay? Those who know Kologungu, even when Kwame Nkrumah was going to be bombed there, he drove through one of these iron bridges. But now that bridge is no more. It is now a concrete bridge that will last for about 100 years. Garu, I remember Garu Road was cut off completely. No one could go to Garu in those days because there was also a steel bridge on it. Now it's a concrete bridge. Doninga, the one that is linking to Upper West, go and see the wonders that Nanado government has done there. Also, concrete bridge. Sicily, 124 meters. So you can see the meter, 100 meters, 25 to 75 meters, 50 meters, 125 meters. These are big, long bridges. It's brilliant. I think this government deserves an applause. So he's there. Maybe you would say, oh, this man is just talking. They are there, right there. Have a look. You can see that the bridges are there. Pictorial form. I'm showing you Tamde Bridge, Doninga Bridge, Sicily Bridge. I think the Western countries will have to come and learn how to do bridges in Ghana here. So I've talked about the Bologatanga Boku roads already, and then we've talked also about Bologatanga Boku, the bridges also, rehabilitation. We've talked about it, and then we're also doing another bypass also from Bolga. When you get to Benduri area, then you will turn and then you join at the back of Boko. It's also being constructed also. So it's the same contractor that is doing the Boko Promakum Road. And they are almost complete that one also. You see the Kola Bridge also, 30%. Now look at the Kola Bridge. That's one of the major bridges on the Boko Bolga Road. That's the Kola Bridge. You can see it there. Look at the Tili one. It's also there. Those of you who know that road. And then look at the Koboli one also. And in fact, because of these bridges, this year, though they opened the Bagri Dam, we didn't have floods at all into people's farms. People didn't lose their property or anything because of this, even just these 3 bridges. This is a fast-thinking government. You need to vote for them next time. Summary of key achievements in the road sector: more roads under construction, increased road network in all the 3 categories of roads, enhanced road networks, increased regional road connectivity, increased connectivity among adjoining communities, reduced travel time, reduced transportation costs, reduced tear and wear of vehicles and parts. And then a huge goal. Okay, now to conclude. In conclusion, I wish to highlight key potentials of the region that investors can consider. We have huge gold deposits for the mining industry. In fact, currently we have Kaduna is going to be one of the biggest mining companies in the country. They are there, and they have built fantastic 2 communities, and they've moved people into these communities. I think some of you will have to come and see the wonders that this region is undergoing. Brand new communities with all facilities, clinics, markets, football pitch, everything in these 2 brand new 2 apart communities that they have moved the people into to give way for the construction of the mine. And then we have another one called El International also, that is also employing about 1,000 plus Ghanaians. It's also working around the same enclave. Then we have huge clay deposits for ceramic production. So those of you who have investors, please let them know. Arable land for production of cereals and vegetables. We've already talked about Guinea Ghana, that is buying sorghum from Upper East, and also we've also told you about our water resources that is there. And therefore, if you are going to come to farm, really you don't have a problem. You have usually farm, you need water and land, and we have these 2 ingredients that you can come and farm there. Irrigation facilities for vegetable production and aquaculture all year round. In conclusion, also tourist sites such as Tongo Hills, Tenzou Shrine, Paga Crocodile Point, very popular, Pigori Slave Camp, Kalim Fish, and Bongo Rocks. In fact, when you're coming to Bongo, make sure you bring some bottle for the Bongo water. You remember the Bongo water? Then we also have a lot of quarries also there, crafts and artifacts. You know, we have Bolga baskets, very popular also. Entertainment industry, particularly music. Then we have, I've already talked about the relocated community in the Talensi, district by Cardinal Resources. They call the place Accra site. That is what is there. Look at it there. Fantastic, brilliant. Yes, the whole community. Then we also have Elephant Crossing, Bolga, Boku Road also, which is a tourist site. You can come and watch these huge animals crossing. So I think there's a small clip there. You can see the elephants crossing. This is all happening in Upper East. All right, so you can now see the burger baskets as is there, a very brilliant craft, and then also the Ghana Cares of Atampa project, which Pegoro Slave Camp Rehabilitation under the Ghana Cares of Atampa project. It's also there, you can see that. Then we have key musicians in the region also of TV3, GM Frame. I think we'll play that one, right? Are we going to play that? Then we have King Ayuzoba, Tongo Zimba, Rock City of Bongo, BFM, Guy One, Atimbila, Akaduma Amoro, Ayuni Sule. These are all fantastic musicians there. So we'll give you a sample of music from the region. Did you know that this music was actually from Upper East? You didn't know. You see, you listen to this every day. This is product of Upper East. Okay, as a region, we will continuously collaborate with all stakeholders to create the needed enabling environment to further advance the aspirations of our communities, where the poor and the downtrodden would feel empowered and the life of all enhanced. I thank you and God bless you.
Thank you so much for the insightful presentation, Honorable Minister. It's my Upper East, my home region, but sitting there, you more than I would have ever imagined is happening in the region, and we are very grateful for that. It was also important that you took time to even highlight the careers of some sons and daughters of the region on such a big platform, because as we are here, we are live on GTV across the country and also streaming on Facebook. So given this opportunity and all that you have said about the region, I'm just overwhelmed. I have no words. But to highlight some key things that Honorable Minister raised, showed me that the vision of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo for this country is clear. And even in extraordinary circumstances, I believe the vision is on course. And by the end of his term, I know that Ghanaians will trust that he did the most for this country, especially in the area of agriculture. You know, we are talking about poultry, and it's all about Brazil. And to see that rearing for food and jobs is putting so much into, livestock and also guinea fowl and other ruminants, and a whole lot of value chain created within that sector. And bearing in mind that other parts of the world, they've made millionaires out of these projects who are owning ranches and all that. I think that is so admirable and needs to be encouraged. As a young person, I'm even thinking that maybe one day I should also get some livestock or get some guinea fowl and start my agribusiness. It's also important to note that the doctor to population ratio and nursing to population ratio has really improved in the region, and along that comes infrastructure in the area of healthcare. And from Minister's presentation, I'm just excited to highlight that we have an infectious disease treatment center which is completed, and we also have Agenda 1118 district hospitals at various levels of completion in Nabdam, Binduri, Tempani, Garu, Pusiga, Bulsa South, and Kasina Nankana. I think that is so admirable. And if a region had only 7 district hospitals and all of a sudden they are about to have 15, because in less than 8 years, one government has decided that let's put our money where the people's lives are, and to make sure we save our people. Thank you so much for the highlights. And I look at the presentation of Honorable Minister in the area of roads infrastructure, and I look at all the bridges and reflect on the many times that I had visited the Upper East region and ask myself, without this government, how were the communities connecting? How were the districts even doing trade when during rainy seasons a lot of communities were cut off? And to see that at a goal, this government has been able to construct modern bridges in Kulungugu, Garu, Doninga, Sicily, and Tili, Kobore, and a lot of areas that the Honorable Minister highlighted. And proudly to mention that this government has done the Bolga Boko Pumakon Road, which I have used recently and was so proud. I could not believe my eyes that this is actually happening. So thank you so much for the very insightful presentation. It was elaborate, and I can only add to the minister's call that we have gold, clay, arable lands, irrigation facilities, and you have a very energetic and seasoned honorable minister willing to hold your hand to do business in the Upper East region. So please, if you are an investor, seize the day. I will now yield the opportunity to the press. If they have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. If you show by hand that you have a question, we'll bring the microphone to you. Okay. So we'll take the first, okay, the third. So you mentioned your name, Media House, and let's keep the questions brief. If you can keep them at maximum 2 questions, that helps.
Thank you very much. My name is Cliff Ekufula, I write for the Ghanaian Times. Honorable Minister, my first question borders on the Pualugu multipurpose dam. Interestingly, nothing was said about it, but I think for me, that would have been the biggest project in your region. And then the second question about the management of the irrigation dams, because in your presentation you kept talking about if managed well. I would want to find out whose responsibility it is to manage it well for the benefits to accrue to all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the questions.
Yes, my name is John Awuni. I represent Kesben. Honorable, when you were doing the intro, you mentioned some conflict areas in the region, precisely Doba and Kandega as one of them. And as recent as last month, former Supreme Court judge is chairing a committee to find lasting peace in that area. But you didn't touch on Boko, the protracted issue. Just 2-3 days ago, gunshots were heard, and on the 5th of November, there's going to be, I've seen some posts on social media about Damba celebration, and there's this agitation that it will not be held in Boko, and the social media fight has started. What is your government, or what are you doing about bringing lasting peace to Boko once and forever? Thank you.
Thank you for the question, John. I saw a hand. Okay.
Yeah, my name is Vincent Amanuva for Daily Graphic. I thank the Honorable Regional Minister for the briefing.
I just want us to quickly look at the airport issue. I didn't hear anything about the airport. The airport issue used to be a vexed issue in the Upper East region. And then the other issue has to do with what is the percentage of the completion stage of the Bolga Boku Road. And then I heard something like 311,229 million to be injected in the Upper East region in the next 5 years. Which sectors are we looking at? And the projects that are they going to be new projects? And where is the money coming from? How are we going to mobilize the money and all that? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. We can take 2 more questions if there are any hands. If not, I'll go to the Honorable Minister for his responses. Okay. The presentation was so good. I don't think we have any questions, so I take that to be the last question. So we'll take Honorable Minister's responses and also his concluding remarks.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Minister. Yes, about Palago. In my presentation, I mentioned that we have Via, we have Tono, and we have Tamde. So I would say that Upper East is basically specialized in irrigation projects. In order not to, and because of that, we have learned from our mistakes. And therefore, Palago coming on stream, we are taking our time to make sure we get it right. And that is what they are doing. There's a lot of engagement already government is doing in the community to make sure that they get it right. This is a huge project. It's going to affect a lot of people. People will have to even move across different regions. And all these things are being worked out. I have heard people say that people have moved their equipment away and all that. I can assure you that Palago is on stream, and Palago is going to come to Upper East. Thank you. Management of irrigation projects. It is true that it is something that is a problem. The problem we have in this country is attitude, okay, and managing state resources. So the way the system has been designed, we have to be able to get private people coming in to do commercial farming. And that is what we are trying to do. So recently I invited people from South Africa, and they are coming in, hopefully next month, and they come to help us, to educate people and scientifically work on the land to be able to increase the yield in an acreage form. And by doing that, then they will be able to pay the fees. And that fees is money that we're going to put in the bank that can be used to actually renovate the dam when we have a problem. Because remember that government has to inject in over 37 million US dollars to rehabilitate this dam. This dam was being constructed somewhere in 1980s when I was a young man student in Navasco. And at that time, if you didn't have money, you couldn't go to Tono to go and see the dam. Okay? As a country, we basically left it. Okay? But the most important thing is that a government came and realized that, no, we need to rehabilitate this dam for the Upper Easterners. And that is what an Anado government does. Okay? It has been done. I am actually the chairman of the ICOR, and we are working very hard to make sure that we are able to save some monies so that we can use it to rehabilitate the dam in case there is a problem. So management-wise, we have refined it, and it's so far so good. Concerning Boko or our flash points, Kandega, Doba is working fantastic now. In fact, we have RESEC, we have lifted the curfew because we've done a lot of work, even with people from Burkina, the chiefs who have helped us a lot. So Kandega, Doba is okay now. Boko is also okay, I will say that. Yes, it is true that 3 days ago there were some few gunshots, but in terms of Boko, those gunshots are not something that really, as a regional minister and as a chairman of RESEC, I am too worried about. The Damba is going to come, and then the Samampid is also going to come. These are two important festivals in the Boko enclave, and these two are going to come. So I will, through this medium, to say that Boko is peaceful now. And I want to indulge the media people that please don't always hype things also, because it is our country. We have only one country, and we have only one Boko. So we should try as much as possible to be mindful of whatever we say about Boko, so that we can have peace in Boko. Boko people are peace-loving people. Boko is traditionally a commercial town. It's unfortunate that this is happening there. We are trying very hard to make sure that people come back. We're trying very hard to make sure that all these commercial activities come back. So that is what I'm prepared to say about Boko. SECO, I think I will allow my Chief Director to talk about that. Then the airport. I have been very, very interested in bringing airport to Upper East for various reasons. If you look at Upper East, I think our airport will even be more viable than Tamale, because Upper East is bordering these neighboring countries. And you can see that Burkina, Niger, all the way to Mauritania and even Morocco, sometimes they come through there. And when they come through to they have to come all the way to Tamale to be able to fly to Accra. So if you have an airport in Bolga, it's going to help. I have personally brought 3 investors to the area. They have looked at it. We are working very closely with Civil Aviation. I'm working very closely with the ministry, and hopefully one of them, good news will come. So we are doing something about that. Then it was Boku Road, right? Or Bolga Road. What was it? The percentage, okay. I think the main areas that is left to be done on that road are these 3 bridges. And you know, the bridges are big components of the road. So if they tell you 40% or 15% or whatever it is because of these 3 bridges. Okay, and the bridges, as you saw, are being constructed. My understanding is that they were waiting for some equipment, some components to come from some country, I think Italy or Australia. And I think 3 days ago when I was passing to Boko, I saw that the equipment arrived, and they were actually, some are also on its way. So very soon these bridges will be done. The basis and everything has been done already. It's just a matter of putting the finishing touches to these bridges. And then it's done all the way to Pulmakom. And then remember that the bypass is also part of it. So, well, I think I have the engineers here. They'll be able to tell you exactly the percentage that the road. But for me, the majority has already been done. This, you can see the bridges there. The basis has already been done. So it's just a matter of the steel bars putting on it and putting concrete on it, and it's all sorted out. Thank you very much. So I think I'll invite Chief Director to talk about the SECO, and then after that, I'll invite one of the engineers also to tell us about the Boko Road. Thank you.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Alhaji Abubakar Inusa, the Chief Director, Upper East Regional Coordinating Council. With regards to the SOCO, it's an acronym which stands for Gulf of Guinea Northern Regions Social Cohesion Projects, and to run for 5 years. As the name implies, Gulf of Guinea, it involves Ghana, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, and Togo, and it is aimed at addressing the Sahel, the incursion of the jihadists from the Sahel. It is pro-poor, so it is supposed to address issues of that borders on poverty, which the extremists can take advantage of. So the project will include educational facilities, it will include health facilities, it will include wash and water resources. And so as we speak, only last month, the Minister for Local Governments, Decentralization and Rural, the Honorable Dambuchi, had the opportunity to launch the program in the Upper East region. And currently all the MMDAs are putting their plans and budget together for submission to the RCC. We will vet it, okay it, before we send it to Accra for implementation. The good news is that the money is ready. The money is ready, and it will be transferred to the MMDAs. Once they meet the requirements, and as they implement, they will pay. So this project will address issues that the extremists would have taken advantage of. There's no water, there's no health facility, there's no this and that. And so this project is coming to address those issues so that the extremists cannot take advantage of us in Ghana. So it will run for the next 5 years. And this is one of the novelest projects we have ever seen in the history of local government. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. My name is Engineer Peter Amwako of Urban Roads. I'm standing in for my brother, Engineer Philip Sanweni. In fact, with respect to the Boga-Boko Road, it's been segmented into different sections. Technically, we call it Boga-Boko, but from the technical point of view, even all the way from Congo to Nabdan is one section. Boga, from MTN section in Boga to Congo is one section. Beyond Nabdan to Boko, Pomako is also a different section. And we have the bridges also as different components. In fact, with the bridges, as the Honorable Regional Minister actually presented, we saw a percentage of 30 over there. So with respect to the bridges, the abutments, the piers have been constructed. We've been waiting for the beams to launch. Some of the beams are in place, are already in Boga town. Some are also, or high seas also coming. So in terms of technical percentages for the bridges, it's 30%. But for the road construction, Congo to Nabdan was completed over 2 years ago. So in terms of percentages, I would say 100%. But from Nabdan all the way to Pomako, we are left with Boko Township to be constructed. And so in terms of percentages, we are talking about between 60 and 70%. And if you talk about Congo to Boga, all the way through Zarungu, everything is already completed. Awaiting this bridge on the Kula River to be constructed. And then the section at, I think, 1.7 kilometers in Boga Township. So that is what is left. So if you want to put all these percentages together, we could be close to 70-80% thereabout. Thank you very much.
For the opportunity has been given to me again to give a final remark. I think that
yes, sorry. Honorable Mr., you did mention that you have some gold deposit and I think, what do you call it? Clay. Okay. Now, can you give us the value, how much it will worth? We want to know how much it will worth for the country so that it will, as it will entice investors to come there. And then my second question, with regard to gold deposit, most often it is associated with illegal mining. Are you having that problem in your region and how are you dealing with it? My third question, you are very close to Burkina Faso and Togo and other regions. Are you threatened by these extremists or terrorists? Do you have fear of they coming there to, as it were, cause any mayhem to the country? Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. The gold deposits, usually the Mineral Commission would inform the regions and also the areas where gold deposits are. So what I know is that we have 15 administrative areas. I think we have about half of those administrative areas have got gold deposits. I will not be able to tell you the quantum of gold under there because they have, but what I know is that our gold is very rich because it's rock based. That's the technical word they use. It's rock based. It's not like the south where you can just dig anywhere. In Napa, you have to really actually go deep down to get the gold. And that is helping us in terms of illegal mining because there's no water bodies where people are basically winning or washing off the gold and all that. So it makes it better. Though there are galamseyas. Galamseyas are everywhere. But in the Upper East, we are monitoring them, and because they are digging deep down, they are really not destroying the environment. That is what it is there. What is the other question? Yeah, yes. You know, in my presentation, I indicated what government is doing about that, and I talked about all the ministers coming in. The Interior Minister, I talked about Minister for Defense, and also Kandapa coming and presenting things. These are burden on security. I don't want to delve too deep into it because it's a matter of security. We don't need to let the others know what we are planning. But what I can say is that it's very safe. Our borders are very safe. We have a lot of military men there, and a lot of logistics are there also. Government is keeping an eye, and I am also keeping an eye there. And the rest, we meet very regularly to review the security situation along the borders. And we've been arresting people recently. We've arrested a few people, and see something, say something is really working. We are educating our chiefs, educating the people to tell us any intel. If they see anybody at all dressed in a certain way or carrying something that they should just tell us, and then we'll deal with it. And we've been doing a lot of arrests. It's just that because it's borders and security, we don't come out to say. So that tells you that the region is safe. You can come in and invest, and without any fear at all. Yes, thank you. So to conclude, I thank all of you. I thank the Deputy Minister for giving us this opportunity. I also thank my regional chairman who flew and came all the way from Upper East region to attend to this. This is the beauty of MPP. We will do things in a nice way, okay? And we are very serious to build this country. And I'm not playing politics, but I'm just telling you what the government is doing in my region, and I'm very happy about it. I was born and grew up in that region, and I know, I'm 50-something years old now, I know subsequent government, what they have done there. And I also know what this government is doing in my region. And I'm very proud to be an Upper Easterner and also to be an MPP person because of what is being done in my region. It's unprecedented thing that is happening there. And if we are able to carry through all these developments in the Upper East region, I can tell you that it will be one of the regions that, one of the best regions in Ghana. Remember that our region, because of the colonial way of administration, the north basically was kind of cut off. But now, Nanado's government is focusing on that. This $311 million that we are talking about is actually in the accounts, okay? And this was sought by Nanado's government. And we are really going to use that. There's also Ring 2, which is also about 200 million or something like that, also coming in also for these these 5 northern regions. And I think that we are going to use it for the benefit of our people. So I thank all of you, my municipal and district chief executives who came with me, my engineers. I don't know why these days, these engineers, when they are writing their name, you put the engineer first, and engineer so and so, engineer so and so. So those of you who did economics, what are you going to put there? Eco so and so, is that not it? And those of us who did planner so and so. And as for the lawyers, they already put their lawyer so and so, is that not it? Yes, so I thank all of you, and my plea is that please come to Upper East. Come and taste Upper East and see how Upper East will deal with you. Thank you very much.
What do you see? Honorable Minister, distinguished invited guests, the press, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. And most importantly, let us not keep the conversation here. If you are watching us on TV or on social media, or you are here, note that the most important service you can do for the Upper East region is to spread the word. Let people know that we are ready to do business, and we have the team and the good people of Upper East to work with. Thank you so much for your time. Good morning.
there is a provision under the Article 82 which requires the minister to be heard in his defense. Mr. Speaker, my issue is, if the finance minister elects to bring a counsel to respond on his behalf, which is his constitutional bona fide, what do we do? Because, Mr. Speaker, under contempt proceedings, we have discussed. Yes. Mr. Speaker, they always want to divert attention. An important matter has been raised. Let's finish with that, then we can deal with ex-cathedral issues. Mr. Speaker, the question is, if the Minister of Finance elects to exercise his rights under the Constitution to employ the services of counsel, how do we treat it as a house? Mr. Speaker, it is his right and his far right, and I'm drawing our attention to it so that on the day we don't meet our cul-de-sac. Because, Mr. Speaker, under our own jurisprudence on contempt, we allow the respondent contemnor to be represented by counsel, and we are precedents in that, because he is entitled to be heard. Right to fair hearing is a sine qua non thing. You cannot take it away from a respondent in a matter. So, Mr. Speaker, this advert here, there is good reason why the proponent of the Constitution said we should put it on notice. And it is good we've done that. Whilst it is yet to be mature, my view is, as a house, we should look at all the roadblocks and appropriately address them before the day comes. You and I are aware that even when questions are filed, and Mr. Speaker admits, upon the question being admitted, there is a transmission administratively to the minister concerned, which enables him to come. Here we are. We have mounted a serious matter essential. A serious matter essential. And the applicants have not served him, neither have they supported their motion with the basis upon which they mount the application, except to advertise some ex-cathedral matters. So all I am saying as a house, Mr. Speaker, all I am saying, no, I'm not going into that, Mr. Speaker's ruling. This is another angle I am looking at it. The last time I didn't raise the issue of Article 14. And colleagues, let's be careful here. Today, it may be you, and you may think it's okay. But if we agree on the rules of procedure in dealing with this matter, posterity will come and judge all of us. It could be Harun Edrisu tomorrow, being a minister of state. It could be Eriko Poku as a minister of state in a future government. We don't know when. And Mr. Speaker, when that time comes, Eriko Poku will have a legitimate expectation that he must be heard, because constitutionally he must be heard. Mr. Speaker, I do not think that we shall allow this to remain in our order paper. The 14 days come, it becomes ripe for hearing, and then on that day, people are holding their documents, and arguing, and then you expect the minister to respond for us to vote on it, which will make him lose his office? No. I believe that even as a house, we should have copies of all the grounds upon which you rely. No. Mr. Speaker, I believe that as a house, every member in this chamber must have a copy of all the legal grounds upon which you mount this application. 2. The respondent himself must be served 3, should the respondent respond by saying that he elect to have a counsel to represent him, are we going to allow that counsel in the dispatch box, or we are going, because the counsel will come in as a stranger at the plenary, or we are going to have a closed session to hear him? These are matters that, Mr. Speaker, are very critical that we should look at, so that we don't create a certain impression that censure, as provided for in the Constitution, is a trivial matter. It is not. If you read in detail, that is why even during contempt proceedings, we allow the respondent contemnor to be heard either in person or through his counsel. Mr. Speaker, I will not sit down when constitutional bona fides are being crucified. I will not sit down. I am interested in the procedure, and let's not do things for political expedience. One day it will come and haunt us. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've made my case, and if any member has any rebuttal well grounded in law, that member should rise and rebut me, so that if I want to respond, I respond. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee to look with favor upon this Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in thy sight. Give divine guidance to the President of the Republic, endow members of Parliament and ministers of state with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labors of government, this land and people may be well and truly served, and thy good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. O God, grant us a vision of our country, fair as it might be, a country of righteousness, where none shall wrong his neighbor, a country of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with, a country of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service and honor shall be given to the deserving, a country of peace, where government shall rest on the wills of the people and the love for the common good. Bless the effort of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people that they may give time, thoughts, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen. Honorable members, let me invite you to item number 4. Item number 4 in today's order paper. That is correction of votes and proceedings. We will begin from page 1 of correction of votes. Page 6. Honorable member, are you on your feet? Page 7. Yes, Honorable Deputy Majority Whip.
Speaker, on page 7, item number 8, and then number 10, the Honorable Member for Hohoi and Nsawame Dujiri, they seek permission and the form was presented to the Speaker, but because Speaker was unavoidable absent, I think it hasn't been captured. So if they...
Come again.
Speaker, on page 7, item 8, the Honorable Member for Hohoi, and then item 10, that is the Majority Chief Whip, they seek permission. The absence with permission, the form was signed by me and it was given to the Speaker. So I don't know why it's...
But it didn't come to me. Incidentally, I'm responsible for that.
Speaker, respectfully, until yesterday that we were informed that you are in charge, it was sent to the Speaker's office on Friday.
Well. Table, please kindly take note of that. Yes, Honorable Member for North Tongue.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I seek your guidance on this matter. I will have thought that your office must approve it. Because if we say that once a form is filled, it should automatically reflect. I'm not sure that that would be helpful. We should complete the process. You fill the form, it goes through leadership. The Speaker must grant the approval because it's not automatic. The Speaker may say that I'm not approving the trip. You know, it's not automatic. So for my colleague, the Deputy Whip, to say that because he submitted the form, then it should automatically reflect here that they are absent with permission. Then what if when the Speaker's office finally works on the forms, he declines one or two of them or doesn't approve at all? So I'm not too sure that it's an automatic, approval, and so it should reflect here. When he himself admits that the Speaker, at the time he sent it, the Speaker was not available and it has not been worked on. So I think that the table office has done the right thing. At least for yesterday, it was not approved. Probably from today or tomorrow, it will then, if the acting Speaker approves it, then it will reflect accordingly. Yeah.
Speaker, I think my colleague didn't get me right. For Honorable Anodompre, he's at the Pan-African Parliament, and he went with the first Deputy Speaker. So my argument here is that until yesterday that we were informed by table office of the unavoidable absence of Mr. Speaker, and the second Deputy Speaker is taking charge. So the form was not sent to the second Deputy Speaker, but rather sent to Mr. Speaker himself. And these are parliamentary travels approved because they are at Pan-African Parliament, and I don't think it should be a problem. I'm just drawing the attention of the Speaker so that table office...
Well, honourable members, I think, I believe leadership might look into this and see how to address this issue, because I appreciate the concerns raised by honourable member for North Tongue. So I think leadership will look into these matters and see how best to address it. Yes, honourable member for...
Mr. Speaker, this is a bit different, but I think that as Speaker, and I know that as acting Speaker, you have the full powers of a Speaker, and I'm very, very happy about that. Mr. Speaker, we may need your direction on this. Especially, I do know that before you attend the conference, you have to apply to the Speaker. And so when the Speaker approves that A, B, C, D can attend the conference, do you need individually to then apply again to the Speaker for permission to travel? I thought that once Speaker approves that you can embark on that trip, it is implied. So, Mr. Speaker, you may want to just guide us on that. If you want leadership to take it, fine, but so that we don't have a duplicity of what we're doing. Thank you very much, Rising Officer Speaker.
Yes, yes.
Mr. Speaker, I have some issues raised by my colleague that when the approval is given by Mr. Speaker, automatically the member is deemed to have traveled or to have attended the program. Approval can be given all right, but some members may decide not to attend the program. So when the member decides to attend the program or workshop, that member must submit the form. indicating that I'm traveling. At this austerity period, that's my concern. The government just did indicate to us that they are going to cut back some foreign travel. And at this period, members of parliament lead in leadership.
Yes, honorable members, I think, like I said earlier on, I think leadership will have to look into these matters. And what Honorable John Jinapo has also raised, I think we'll put it on record and see how best we can address those. So we'll move on to page 8. Yes, Honorable Member for South.
Speaker, thank you. Speaker, I was in the House yesterday, but I'm captured as having been absent. Item number 25 on page 8. To be honest, I forgot to sign it. I forgot to sign it, to be honest, but I was in the House. Thank you.
So, table, take note, but I've been repeatedly asking members to please sign the register. Please, when you come, try and sign the register. So you move to page 9. Now, page 10. And finally, page 11. And finally, page 12. Honorable members, in the absence of any further corrections, the votes and proceedings of the 5th sitting held on Tuesday, 1st November 2022 are adopted as the true records of proceedings. Leadership, or we will do something else before we come to statements.
Speaker, with your leave, if we can vary the order of business and commencement of public business so that we can do motions 6 and 7.
Very well. So, honorable members, let me respectfully invite you to page 2. Page 2. Item listed 6 on today's paper, that is at the commencement of public business. Motion. If the chairman of the committee is not here, the vice chairman may take the motion. So, honorable member for Shaman, you may take the motion. Yes, honorable member, let's hear you.
Mr. Speaker, with your leave, I wish to present this report on behalf of the chairman of the committee, who is unavoidably absent. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that this House adopts the report of the Committee on Employment and Social Welfare, which report is on the Ghana National Corporation, GNPC. Mr. Speaker, I wish to...
Yes. Hold on. Honorable Member for Shaman, hold on.
Just to help the Honorable Vice Chairman, move the motion 8, as it appears on page 4. Then you can proceed to present the committee's report. But I want to hear the motion being moved, not substituted with your own words. The motion as it is and advertised on the other paper. Thank you, Mr.
Mr. Speaker, I wish to move the motion paper as appeared at page 2, number 6 of today's other paper. In doing so, the report I wish to present the report of the Committee on Employment and Social Welfare in respect of Ghana National Petroleum Corporation. Mr. Speaker, I will touch on the highlights of the report as presented, but pray that the Hansard Department captures the entire report as read. Mr. Speaker, the committee is grateful to the Honourable Minister for Public Enterprises, Honourable Joseph Kujo, and the SIGA Director General for their assistance in respect of the work that has been done by the Committee on Employment. Mr. Speaker, the GNPC as an organization, mission of leading a sustainable exploration, development, production, and disposal of the petroleum resources. Mr. Speaker, the committee called witnesses and relied on the accounts submitted, the account of 2019 and 2020. Well, at page 4 of the report, it indicated that the assessment indicated that GNPC's liquidity situation was moderate, with short-term assets matching its term liabilities. Mr. Speaker, the importance of GNPC cannot be overemphasized. And among other things, the observations of the committee, which looked at the finances of GNPC, observed that to improve efficiency, Parliament should rein in the quasi-fiscal and corporate social responsibility activities of GNPC and enact a law that will ensure that the transparency and accountability is reflected in the changing dynamics of the oil and gas industry. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, the committee believes that Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, the national oil company, is a strategic company which controls about a third of the total oil and gas industry, and that if Parliament is very critical with its activities, it can ensure that we have a very effective management which will bring very positive results than they are doing now. Now they are performing moderately
and they can do better. So, on this light, the Speaker, the committee recommends that the House approves the report, especially submitted to the Speaker. Thank you.
Very well. Honourable members, the motion has been moved. Let me now invite the ranking to second the motion.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion ably tabled by the Vice Chairman of the committee on behalf of the committee. But, Mr. Speaker, in seconding the committee, I will want to draw the House attention to the fact that the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation is one of the very strategic assets of the Ghanaian nation state. Mr. Speaker, GNPC is one of those organizations whose impact on our body politic goes beyond just the commercial. GNPC is the agency of state that we have elected to represent Ghanaian interests in the oil and gas sector. And therefore, issues pertaining to GNPC are of critical national importance. Mr. Speaker, it is in this light that I want to draw the attention of the committee to the poor state of GNPC. Attention of the House to the poor state of GNPC. And if there is a word worse than poor, I would have used it. Mr. Speaker, if you look at page 6, paragraph 31 of your committee's report, the report states that the gearing ratio, and this is extremely important in finance, the gearing ratio of GNPC rose from 35% in 2018 to 59% in 2020, which simply stated means GNPC is highly indebted to other partners. The gearing ratio is the relationship between your asset base and your loan portfolio or your debt. And therefore, when you are heavily in debt, such as GNPC is, it calls for serious introspection. Mr. Speaker, we have allowed GNPC to veer from its core operations into areas which are better performed by other organizations. Yes, I am the first to admit that GNPC needs a social license to operate, and the social license will include corporate social responsibility. That is critical in the extractive industry. You need the buy-in, especially of host communities, to operate. However, that should not supersede your core mission of returning good returns, good dividends to the nation state for the equity you hold on behalf of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, consistently, GNPC has had to borrow. When you borrow for capital expenditure, when you borrow for cash calls, when you borrow to expand production, there is then a belief that the proceeds from the production will service the loan. But GNPC goes beyond that. We borrow even for administrative expenses. And again, GMPC has gone ahead to form subsidiary companies without the permission of this House, and siphons of revenue that should go into the petroleum funds into this offshore company, bypassing the supervision of this House. Mr. Speaker, it is high time this House took a second look at the operations of GMPC. Our committee's remit is just on the financials. Mr. Speaker, the financials don't speak well of GMPC. The future is bleak for GMPC and therefore for Ghana if we do not insist that GMPC stays the straight and narrow path in its operations. It is important, Mr. Speaker, if you look at paragraph 40, the expenditure of GMPC, we are saying that the committee observed that GMPC engages in activities outside its core mandate, which either do not produce commercial value for the organization or compromise efficiency and utilization of GMPC's revenue. Mr. Speaker, we will urge that from a purely financial analysis, GMPC, without injection of new funds, GMPC is on the brink of bankruptcy. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, in supporting the motion, I will want to call the attention of this House for the need to bring GMPC, even if it's a committee of the whole, to bring GMPC before this House for a more critical scrutiny. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I support the motion.
Yes, let me now come to the chairman of Mines and Energy Committee, Honorable Member for Abuakwa South.
I'm grateful to you, Honorable Speaker, to make a few comments regarding this all-important report at the behest of the Committee on Employment, Social Welfare, and State Enterprises. Honorable Speaker, as my colleague Dr. Donko has rightly said, GMPC can be the cash cow of our economy if we should have proper alignment. I agree. One challenge of GMPC, which we shouldn't ignore, is the hard fact that monies due GMPC can be taken from them by the Ministry of Finance for other purposes. There's this understanding that relating to the state companies owned by the state, the monies of the companies are not theirs, and that the Ministry of Finance, whenever there is a challenge, can do some maneuvering and take over the monies, and probably in good time these monies will return to the companies. There have been instances where the monies were never returned to the companies, and the consequence is clear, that that state institution will be deprived of the needed capital to do what is expected of it. It's one observation that we have seen as a Committee on Mines and Energy, and we want this thing addressed properly. One other factor which we should pay regard to is what Honorable Dr. Kwamina Donko said. Anytime a state institution deviates from its core mandates and is entangled in other matters, apart from those, decisions being ultra vires, the statute that gave birth to the state institution, monies could be wasted. So it's about time that we whip them into line.
That your mandates have been clearly defined by law. And I didn't want to quote PNDC Law 64, because the mandates are very clear. When you go into other undertakings, especially without parliamentary approval, the tendency is that you might have some serious problems. And I think this is what we are also trying to do as a committee, to whip them into line. Honourable Speaker, given the financial situation of GMPC, I am of the humble view that they are going to move at a tortoise pace in delivering their mandates. There is a huge area of Ghana's land space. It's called the Voltaire Basin. Honourable Speaker, it is said that we have huge reserves of crude oil and gas, not offshore, but on our lands. And I've observed the kind of small amounts of capital that they bring when they want us to approve their work program. And you could see that given the monies and the allocations which are coming in, trickles, I do not foresee a situation in which GMPC will be able to work on the Voltaire Basin, which I'm educated has more crude oil and gas than what we are experiencing now. Honourable Speaker, it is imperative that GMPC should find credible international partners or even local investors for the purpose of accelerating the development of crude oil and gas in the Voltaire Basin. And I'm of the humble view that if this is so done and there's an acceleration of that, our people will get good employment and it's going to help the nation so well. Apart from the problem of crude oil, which is now an international issue. Finally, Honourable Speaker, there has been some serious assertions that some subsidiary companies have been set up by GMPC without reference to this great house. I'm tempted to believe that you didn't come to this house to seek approval to set up a subsidiary company. Insofar as you are a statutory body and you believe that you need a vehicle to pilot your activities, you could do so. But a matter which has come to the fore is that monies intended for this nation is in some foreign climes. They are talking about offshore funds. I thought my good friend, Dr. Donko, Honorable Dr. Donko, was not going to speak on this matter because the committee has decided that we are bringing before the whole committee the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Energy, and GMPC to come and explain the kind of permutations that went into these arrangements, and some money is found itself offshore. So this is a matter of great concern, and it's been penciled because of the travel arrangements of the Minister of Finance as well as Energy, and then also the GMPC Managing Director. The meeting has been deferred. But for sure, your committee is alive to its responsibilities. There's no dispute about it. We're going to interrogate issues and then bring a good report for the consideration of the House. I thank you for the space you've given me, although I'm not a member of the committee, and continue to be gracious towards me when it is necessary. I'm grateful to you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, let him come. Once the chairman of the committee has spoken, let him give the ranking also the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, let me commend the committee for a very, very detailed job done. This is comprehensive, but there's a lot of myths in this report. And like the Honourable Dr. Donko did indicate, they focus on the financial health and financial well-being of the GMPC. the GNPC was established as our national oil company to, one, hold our interest in the oil fields, i.e. the carried and participating interest, and also look at the possibility of having commercial interest. And so GNPC is a strategic company. If you go to Saudi Aramco, you go to Petrobras and all those other national oil companies, they are doing a very, very good job for their country. And so in as much as I agree that GNPC may be veering off their core duty, if we can reposition GNPC and it becomes a profit-making entity, they can even give some dividend and some money to government to put into such other activities that we are talking about. But Mr. Speaker, I'm very, very worried about the state of GNPC reading this report. And if you look at page 4, it starts with the profitability assessment of the company. If you look at the gross profit margin, which is the gross profit expressed as a percentage of your total sales, it has reduced from 50% in 2018 to 26% in 2019 to 0.3% in 2020. This is serious. From 50% to less than 1%. If you look at the operating profit, which is also your operating profit expressed as a percentage of sales, it has moved from 28% to negative 19.23%. And your operating profit is mostly your total sales less the cost of sales. And so it means that compared to what they sold and what they bought, they've made a loss. Return on capital employed, that is the capital that you employ, everybody expects to make some return from the money that you employ into the organization. They are making a negative 16. So you are even better off putting that capital in treasury bills, because you invest in order to make some profit. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the current ratio, and the current ratio would normally look at your current liability and your current assets, because within a year you ought to sell and you also ought to pay. Those that goes beyond a year are known as long term, but the current ones has to do with what happens within the year. It was 1.08, which means that you can cover your current liability and still have something. Today is 0.88. So when you take your total current assets and sell it and you go to pay your total current liability, you cannot meet that. Such a company is bound to collapse. The worst of all is even the asset test, because the asset test ratio deals with cash and cash equivalent. It means that today, if you move into GNPC and make noise that you want your money, bearing in mind that money doesn't like noise, bearing in mind that she can't pay the day, Mr. Speaker. Yes, because money doesn't like noise. She can't pay the day. But with this ratio, asset test ratio, the small noise you make on Mr. Speaker, I'll tell you. In the same way, in as far as she can't pay the day, with this ratio, you can also say that she can't pay J. So, Mr. Speaker, it's a serious matter. This company is on the verge of collapse, and something ought to be done about it. Dr. Donko talked about the gearing. The gearing is a ratio between your debt and what you have contributed as equity. If you are highly geared, it means that you are taking too much debt and too much loan. But you don't just end with the gearing. You have to go to, and for me, the committee did a very, very good job, Mr. Speaker. You have to go to, there's a portion, yes, accounts receivable and accounts payable. Because in as much as you are looking at your gearing, you are also looking at those who are supposed to pay you. Are they paying you on time? Now the accounts receivable has moved from 108 days, which means that on the average, it takes 108 days for those who owe you to pay you, to 357 days. So in the whole year, they won't even pay you. Yeah. That's the true situation. And then you then go to accounts payable, which is to say you also owe people. So within a year, how many days does it take for you to pay? They've moved to 447 days. So it can no longer even qualify as accounts payable because you've moved beyond the financial year.
This is precarious.